we've been critical of races in the past, but Sunday's race was a lot better.
Yes.
And you watched the race? Of course you didn't. You watched the highlights? You enjoyed the race?
Yeah, it seemed quite good.
Particularly you've been critical of F1 recently, especially the last race was the worst race in modern history. Complete 180.
It was terrible. But this race seemed pretty good.
It got spicy in qualifying. I think qualifying set the scene because Leclerc got pole and he was on top most of the practice sessions. And then Hamilton was second, but he did impede Raikkonen. Did you see that incident? He impeded Kimi. And Kimi was
bad driving, really, from Lewis, wasn't it?
Yeah, very bad driving.
It was just a lack of judgment of the situation.
He just, I don't know. They normally say on the radio when someone's right up the gearbox.
I mean,
he didn't move out the way.
He didn't slow down enough, and so he had to
go
over. But not be funny if that had been a gravel trap opposite, Hamilton wouldn't have done that, and so it would have completely ruined Raikkonen's lap.
We'll get on to gravel traps and street circuits and your theories about that corner in particular later on with that moment between...
Tiff Needell, actually. I'm sure it's Tiff Needell.
Who is that?
Fifth gear. Did race F1
right
for a couple of seasons.
Did he?
Yeah.
Never heard of him. If you're watching, sorry.
Seriously?
No.
That's embarrassing.
Never heard of him. But yeah, Hamilton got a 3-place grid penalty, but according to the FIA, 2 + 3 = 4.
Yeah, so I saw...
Do you have a rant about this?
A journalist explain it, and it's very confusing.
It does make sense, though.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
It's fucking stupid.
Because Magnussen had the penalty. They do it chronologically.
Yeah, I know, but then that means that George Russell managed to gain a spot.
Yeah.
Having had a penalty. It's ridiculous. So he's not at a disadvantage at all.
Yeah, that's because other people had like 20-place grid drops. So there was not even a point in doing qualifying for them.
But
he would have gained places anyway if he hadn't even done qualifying.
Right, yeah.
But it is too confusing. 2 + 3 = 4.
still started last.
Kubica, yeah, I mean, oh man, he's just not had a great comeback, has he? So it was a Leclerc Verstappen front row. Lando Norris got up to 5th, and Vettel was only 9th.
Have you noticed?
Shocking.
Not a Mercedes front two, and it was an exciting race.
I know. If you take out Mercedes from this World Championship, it's been an epic season. It's been a really good season. Whenever it's a hot race, Mercedes can't follow cars because they designed that car to lead. So when they're stuck behind someone in a dirty air, it just gets way too hot and they can't compete. That's my theory anyway.
The engineer George.
Yeah, I don't have a qualification in engineering.
Aerodynamic theories.
Yeah, but that's true though. That's probably what is the case.
I need to load up the notes actually.
Yeah, you haven't got the notes up. So while you're doing that, I'm just going to fill. So lap 1, Verstappen had the worst start I've ever seen.
It was horrendous. Anti still kicked in, didn't it?
Terrible. It was. Everyone was like, "Yes, Leclerc, Verstappen, front row. It's going to be an epic race." Lights go off. Oh, okay. Mercedes 1-2.
Doesn't get away, does he?
No, it dropped it down into anti-stall, but it basically forces you to put the clutch in, and you just bog down and can't get the power down. And then Hamilton and Norris were battling. Did you see that? Norris was up to 3rd.
That was good. I quite enjoyed that.
If only McLaren had a Mercedes engine, that would be so good. But that's
because the McLaren's qualified well, and then it was kind of a bit disappointing from then on, really, wasn't it?
I don't know. They had some good tussles.
Kind of dropped.
The best of the rest, though, I say. Probably the best midfield team currently, definitely. Because no one else is. Not really close.
Occasionally, Toro Rosso have a weirdly good weekend.
Terrible weekend this weekend.
They didn't do well, did they?
Another stat here. Norris has lost 20 places on the first lap this season.
Yeah.
But then he gained 2 places Sunday, which was interesting.
Do you reckon that's lack of confidence?
I don't know. I don't know.
What about his teammate?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know the stat for Sainz, no, but
you should.
I should have researched that, but I haven't. So I can just say it's probably better than that. Sainz is normally quite reliable from the start.
I just think whether it was the car or the driver.
Probably the car, in my opinion. Vettel got up to 6th. Raikkonen was up to 4th as well. And everyone, when Hamilton got into 3rd, I was like, oh no, here we go. It's going to be Mercedes.
Raikkonen did really well off the Verstappen slowdown, didn't he?
Yeah.
Basically,
I think Verstappen dropped down to 7th or 8th. I think it was 7th, maybe 9th. I don't know. But then Vettel does get past Norris on lap 4. DRS. You don't like DRS.
well,
And then lap 5, Verstappen reports battery clipping. Do you know what that means? It's basically the battery is not deploying properly, so he hasn't got full.
The KERS.
He hasn't, or the ERS. He hasn't got full deployment of the battery.
It's not KERS anymore.
No.
Energy recovery, not kinetic energy recovery.
KERS is like old hat now.
What's the difference?
ERS is like triple the. You can get about 180.
Right.
Martin Brundle always says ERS provides about 180 horsepower, which can chug along a family saloon car at a nice speed. Always says that.
Very, very nice.
A very nice speed, about 150.
Saloon car.
Don't know what saloon car.
A Mondeo's probably got no more than about 110.
Mondeo. You basically got 4 Mondeo in that battery. Yeah.
With a 2.5 litre diesel engine.
Yeah, not quite the same, is it? Still bigger engine than F1.
Yes.
1.6. Yeah, so that's not very good. And then.
What is the. Are they V6s?
Yes. Any further questions?
No.
Sure.
Yeah. At least be V8s, didn't they?
V6 1.6, yeah, should be V8s. When they brought the Halo
were they
back,
V8 2 litres or were they 1.8?
2.4 naturally aspirated, I think, which was much better than V6.
And they're turbocharged, aren't they?
Yes. You can feel while I'm having a drink.
Yeah.
Or not. Just to make a noise.
I didn't have anything to say.
There's some weird noises coming from that side of the room. Vettel gets past Raikkonen. Raikkonen thought he was back in the Ferrari. He was up in 4th. Then he dropped down to 5th, and then 6th, and then 7th, and kind of faded away. Lap 9, worst moment of the race. Magnussen investigated for out of grid position, and gets a drive through. How can he be out of grid? Did you watch the onboard?
What is that when they pull up to the start?
It pulls up to the grid, and there's a yellow line that comes out like
on the
4
wheel.
foot. Yeah, you have to have your wheel on it. He just completely. He looks. You can see him looking at it, and he stops on it, and he just keeps going forward, and then he's like, "Yeah, that's fine." Then he gets a penalty for it. Worst driving of the weekend, in my opinion. No one likes Magnussen. We've talked about it before. What are your thoughts on Magnussen?
Poor Magnussen.
Dirty driver. You don't need to say any more than that, to be honest. Just the exhale.
Although, was it Magnussen who did something quite impressive?
He qualified 5th this weekend.
Yeah, that might have been it.
Then he got a penalty and started like 18th or something.
I think that was what people were saying.
It's a shame.
Is that if he was in a faster car, he'd have qualified.
Yeah, but no one's going to put him in a faster car, I don't think.
But
he's just too dangerous.
But maybe he's a good driver.
Yeah, he's not a bad
Needs
driver.
to channel his.
Got a podium on his debut for McLaren. Yeah.
Verstappen was a bit reckless when he first started.
Very. A bit like his dad. Johnny always says his dad, Jos, was the dirtiest driver in history, which I think is a bit far. Speaking of Verstappen, he gets past Raikkonen for 5th on lap 9. And a quote from Martin Brundle, "The Iceman gave Verstappen the freezer there." I'm not sure what that means.
No.
There you go. I think it's just one of those phrases.
That no one ever uses.
No one's ever said that ever before, and will never say again.
No.
There was a dive bomb on Raikkonen from Norris on lap 14. Great move. My favourite move of the race.
I saw that.
He just
very good.
Planted it. He was stuck behind Kimi for ages, and then he just
that was a good overtake.
And then lap 22, this is when the strategies, everyone starts to pit, because Ferrari started on the softs.
Strategies.
Mate, if it wasn't for different strategies, this race would have been dead. It would have been a Leclerc easy victory.
Yeah.
Easy victory. Yeah. So Leclerc started on the softs, the softest tyre available. So both Ferraris did, and everyone else.
Or do they run soft, medium, hard? Did they?
Yeah, everyone else was on the mediums, I believe. And then when Ferrari come in, they fitted the mediums. When Mercedes and Red Bull came in, they fitted softs for the rest of the race. So at the end of the race, the Red Bulls and the Mercedes were on the better tyre, but the Ferraris weren't. However, they had an advantage of like 5 seconds.
Have to pit.
Yeah. So everyone starts pitting around lap 22, 23. Hamilton has front wing damage. Did you see that?
Yep.
He kept
He went
running
over
wide.
a bump, didn't he?
He kept going. They showed that replay about 30 times of him going wide at turn one.
Because they love Hamilton.
Literally about 10 times, I think.
Yeah.
Like it was just him drifting over the exit curve of turn one.
Bad driving again, isn't it?
He just hate Lewis, didn't he? Anytime you get to bash him.
So yeah, he had to come in and he changed his wing.
11 seconds. That's pretty fast for a front wing change.
Yeah, because what do they have to do? Undo a few nuts, don't they?
Yeah,
It's quite a quick process.
Very, very quick for 11 seconds. Could have done some refueling.
So they didn't leave the Allen key on.
Yeah, if they would have done that, it might have been a 10-second stop. You can tell Mercedes that. You can write into them and give them some advice.
I'm not sure it'll be aerodynamically very efficient, but okay.
The next 17 laps, this was the only dead part of the race. The next 17 laps were just strategies, just putting in times. This is where it gets spicy, because Verstappen, the order at the moment will be Leclerc, Bottas, Vettel, Verstappen, Hamilton. So Vettel was in third, and Verstappen was told he has a pace advantage over Vettel in T1. And then he starts closing down, and he gets past Vettel on lap 51. And then I'm pretty sure I heard this right. Vettel pits for fresh softs. He comes up behind Lewis, and he comes on the radio and says, "Watch the gap. Let's kill him." I don't know whether he said "let's kill him" or "let's get him."
Probably
it sounded like "let's kill him," and I was like, okay. But I don't know. Did you hear that? I don't know whether they put that on the highlights.
No, that wasn't on the highlights.
Maybe.
So it probably just said "let's get him."
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would have put that in the highlights. There was too many highlights. It's only 7 minutes long. Cause
it was actually. It was a lot of highlights.
It was only 7 minutes long, mate. So
usually the last 2 minutes of the highlights are just the podium because they got to fill it. But no, it was quite.
Well, the YouTube highlights. The YouTube highlights are normally about 7 minutes.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This
podium,
week it was full of.
France, it was just 8 minutes of the Ricciardo penalty.
Yeah, literally.
Yes, I'm not sure whether he said "let's kill him" or "let's get him." Probably "let's get him." Pretty aggressive from Seb. And then, did you? I said at this point I was decorating. Surprise, surprise. At this point, I said, but when he passed Vettel on that 51, there was 30 laps to go. I said, or 20 laps to go. Sorry. I said he could win this, and he was about 15 seconds off the lead, and I was like, yeah, he can win this. Didn't expect him to do it. But he gets within like 2 laps. He's within DRS on Bottas. And I've put on that 56, he passes Bottas with a filthy move. That was dirty. That was a filthy move. Very nice.
Remind me.
He just plants it into turn 3.
On the tight.
Yep, on the inside,
and
on the hairpin.
Goes up there. Yeah.
He just destroyed him. I thought you said you watched the highlights.
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, that might explain why.
Yeah.
Your head's focused on Wimbledon today. Yeah, and then he says "game on" over the radio. 5 seconds. I put 5 seconds to Bottas, but 5 seconds to Leclerc. I don't think he could do it with a. I just said I reckon he could do it, but then I realised that he has a Honda engine. I didn't know whether he could do it, but maybe Honda have stepped up their game. Maybe they were faster this weekend in the speed traps than Mercedes were. Honda.
Yeah, they did well.
So is Fernando Alonso sat at home thinking,
"Damn,
should have taken that Red Bull offer while it was there"? Is he going to be replaced with Gasly?
No. I think he'll come back.
Gasly replaced with Alonso. Alonso is 100% coming back. 100%.
Well, no, but he's at the moment he's still affiliated with McLaren, isn't he?
That won't be for much longer. Did you see the Indy 500 qualifying?
Yeah, true.
That won't be happening. If he wants to be serious with his career, he's like 36.
He's not got long left, is he?
But he needs to make a move now. He needs to leave.
But not like Verstappen and Fernando Alonso in the same team would be insane.
Best lineup on the grid.
Easily.
There's no competition.
Alonso was ridiculous.
The best. I think he's a better driver than Vettel and Hamilton, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Hamilton's a very good qualifier.
Yeah, Hamilton's probably the greatest of all time in qualifying. But Alonso starts.
Sorry.
He is the greatest of all time in qualifying. He's got the most poles. I think
Senna would have something to say about that.
Yeah, but he's got the most poles.
Doesn't matter, he's got the most poles.
He does.
When he's had the fastest car.
Yeah, Senna had the fastest car.
Did he?
Yeah, they won like 11 races in a row. Another stat, actually, I forgot to tell you. Coming into this weekend, Mercedes had won 10 races in a row, rolling on from last year. McLaren, everyone says, back to the old days. It was better in the old days. With Prost and Senna, they'd won 11 races in a row. So they could have equalled that if they'd won, but obviously they didn't. So harp on about the old days. It's pretty much the same as it is now. F1's been the same.
Yeah, no, it was just as tedious as it was back when they had
It's like that race at
8
Monaco.
shift and all that.
Yeah, it's like that race at Monaco they had. There was 0 overtakes. It was our best race of all time. No overtaking whatsoever.
Was that in the when it was really wet?
That was where Senna was just like driving in the middle of the road just to stop. Who was it? Mansell, Prost.
And it was the qualifying when he qualified much quicker than
It was like
else.
2 seconds.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, he was 2 seconds up on Prost or something like that.
In the wet. I
Yeah.
think it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, Hamilton's the best at qualifying. He has like 80 something pubbles. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Senna only has like 60.
But I wonder how he'd get on if he was in Verstappen's shoes yesterday. Would he have the same balls that Verstappen did? Do you think?
Yes. This is Hamilton we're talking about.
Yeah, but he just moans a lot, doesn't
He
he?
literally doesn't care. Well, and moaning is not going to stop him from planting it down the inside.
Might do.
Like, you've got two.
Too worried about his hair.
You've got two B
Gonna
drivers.
mess his hair up.
Alright, you've got two B drivers in front of you, Bottas and Leclerc. Basically, the second drivers in their team. What's going to stop you from just sending it?
Worried about his hair.
His hair. It's the hair. Not sure what did he do with his hair this weekend.
Oh, I don't fucking
Although
know.
he put a picture on Instagram, very inspiring. I thought he had he put a picture up.
What's he done now?
No, serious post, serious thing. He put up a picture of just him, just normally with his hair everywhere, and topless, obviously.
Oh, of course he was. That's serious.
Yeah.
It's all about the message, though. You carry on. It's all about
Shall
the
I
message.
actually get it up? So basically, he put everyone. You know how everyone edits their photos nowadays, and
Yep.
they use Photoshop to make themselves look better. Well, Lewis thought he would try and help the situation. So that's the picture there. We'll put it up on the screen now. That is the picture of him taking a selfie, topless, obviously. Shall I read it to you? Posting this because this is me, unfiltered and basic. In today's society,
Christ's sake.
everyone is using too many apps and filters to make themselves look perfect, and I think we need to start encouraging ourselves and others to love themselves just the way they are. It is our imperfections that make us special and unique. Like many, I too have insecurities, and for whatever reason, have questioned the way I look because of the pressures in society. And I've come to realise, I've spelled incorrectly, I've come to realise that I am who I am, and I'm not changing for nobody. So here's me trying to be vulnerable and letting you know that it's okay to be vulnerable. And I implore you to love yourself for who you are, because you really are special. Lastly, wasn't the best weekend for me, you don't say, but over the years I've learnt to notice the lessons that come from difficult days. I made 2 mistakes, this does go on. I made 2 mistakes from this weekend, which is rare for me, but were costly. Accepting and acknowledging, capitals for both of those, are key to the learning process, and swiftly move on. Tomorrow's a new day, back to training, get myself ready for the British Grand Prix. Hope you had an amazing weekend. God bless.
He's either a total numpty, or he's doing what Alex Ferguson used to do and just like divert the media attention away from his shit weekend. I don't think anyone cares about him that much to sort of.
Well,
What is that about though?
It's good though. It's good that he's doing it. He has it is. It took me about 3 minutes. At least we're adding time on. He's doing the right thing, because he is right. If someone else said that, all right. Who's your favourite sportsman? I don't know. If Freddie Sears said that.
Yeah, but
if Paul Lambert came out and said that, you'd be saying, yeah.
But
brilliant.
Roger Federer would not pose in front of a mirror with messy hair and his shirt off.
That's the whole point.
He would not do it.
That's the whole point. Because that is just.
Yeah, but he wouldn't do it because he's not like he is.
I'm not sure what to reply to that, but
because you know it's true. the man is a dick.
The point is that he is right there in what he's saying. You can't say he's wrong.
But you don't need to.
Yeah, but Yeah, but no, he's a twat,
But
mate.
actually, the point is, by him doing that, he's adding to the. What am I trying to say?
Don't know what you're trying to say, but I
Because
think it's bollocks.
by adding a picture of himself topless to Instagram, you're adding to the societal norm, which you don't need to do.
I thought you have it out with him if he's watching.
Yeah, well, he deserves a fucking slap.
He's a little bit wet. Well, someone
A
said to
little
me-
bit wet.
Someone,
Jesus, you're swimming in it by the time he's
someone
finished.
said the other day I sent the post.
horrendous.
I think it was after qualifying, and one of my friends,
Yeah,
Ollie, was
that was
like,
me.
Was it you?
Yes,
or maybe
it
I
was
sent
me.
it to you
It
as well.
was me, and I said something rude back
Yeah.
because it was ridiculous.
Yeah, and now you've got that off your chest. Do you feel better?
No, it made me angry now.
At
At least it was a good end to the race.
Should we get on the spicy bit of the race? Last 20 laps were the best 20 laps of the
That's
last...
what I said. Sorry, I just found it on Instagram. You sent me the story, and I said that last story would be a crime punishable by death in a country ruled by me. Is what I said.
I mean,
It's disgusting.
you're entitled to your opinion, mate, but I think there's going to be a lot of people out there that probably disagree with you.
No one watches, so it doesn't matter.
To be fair, last podcast.
It's pretty dismal.
I mean...
Yeah, because you took 4 days to edit it.
Yeah, but I was working the first 3 days.
Oh, I was working.
I was. It's
What
alright
were
for
you
you
doing in the
swanning-
evenings?
It's alright for you swanning off back to bloody... I got literally, as soon as I got back, I got on the edit and I got it bashed out. And I uploaded it the next morning. But
You should
YouTube...
upload it that night. What are you doing?
Because it renders, it takes time to render. Jesus. Anyway, shall we get on to the last 15, 20 laps? Best end to a race I can ever remember. Apart from Baku.
Or Interlagos 08. I think we'd have something to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I know that was like 11 years ago.
Oh, okay, we're talking recent history.
You know, last 5-6 years.
I don't know. I haven't watched any F1 in the last 5-6 years.
Then mate, France GP 2019. Verstappen gets DRS and he passes Bottas on lap 56. He changes his engine strap mode for maximum power on lap 59. He puts back-to-back purple laps in on lap 61, 62. The gap was about 7 seconds to Leclerc on lap 56. On lap 65, it's 1.2. On lap 68, there's a dive bomb. This is where it gets spicy. This is the first move. The initial
overtake.
move. I have no problem
It's
with
very
it.
clean.
Very clean, very fair, and it was fine. I had no problem with that. That was great racing.
Well, no one can have any problem with that because if they
It was
did, then
exciting.
you can't race anymore.
No, that's fine. I only have a problem. I have problems later on, but that was fine. That was exciting. I was praying that Leclerc holds on, because
I don't like the way you've written the next note either.
what?
Lap 69. I don't like the way you've written that first bit.
Verstappen hits Leclerc. We'll get
But
onto that.
But it doesn't hit Leclerc.
The
Leclerc
dive
hits
bomb.
Verstappen.
The initial dive bomb. That's wrong. The initial dive bomb.
It's not.
It is.
Have you seen the replay from the front?
Okay, we'll skip to lap 69, right? The first one.
First one's alright. It's
First
good
one's
racing.
fine.
It's exciting.
And Leclerc outdrags him and defends the inside, which he should have done on the next lap. Next lap starts, he gets a terrible exit out of the first corner, up into turn 2, 3.
3.
1, 2. Yeah, I don't know whether that turn 2 is actually a
It's
turn.
that tight. It's very bad to go overtook the rest of the pack.
Yeah. So Leclerc leaves the door wide open on the lap before the penultimate lap, and Verstappen just goes in. In my opinion, well, this is what happens. We'll say what happens. He goes
But
in.
do it objectively.
He goes in.
Yep.
And he goes a little bit deeper than usual because
To defend the corner.
He was braking later to overtake,
Yeah, and he was
Leclerc.
defending Leclerc.
and he didn't open his steering once. It was a continual
Yeah, it
release
was
of the steering.
continual.
It wasn't just a. It didn't open
No.
the steering up.
And when you look at the front view, Verstappen comes around very smooth turn, and Leclerc comes around and he does he turns the wheel more, slightly sharper, and hits him. Verstappen does not hit Leclerc. Leclerc hits Verstappen. And I'm
Leclerc-
sorry, if you disagree, watch the replay.
Leclerc hits Verstappen.
Yes,
That is completely wrong
it's not.
on all levels.
Look at
It
the
is.
replay.
No, I have watched the replay many times. Verstappen went too deep. He was way too hot into that corner. And he
He's
went
allowed
in.
to. If You
Because
can't
it's Verstappen. If it was Hamilton, people would be saying, "Oh bloody hell, we're disgraceful
No.
driving." You'd be sat there
No, I
saying,
wouldn't.
"Hamilton,
No,
you
I
are a
wouldn't.
tosser."
No, I wouldn't.
Posting on Instagram
No,
later
no.
on.
I don't diss Hamilton for his driving. I say he's a fantastic driver. Is his shit afterwards on Instagram? There's nothing wrong with that. And if there is something wrong with it, then we can't fucking race anymore.
Leclerc,
Ludicrous.
Leclerc had to turn at some point for the corner. He has to. It's a
Yes,
corner.
Of course he did.
You have to turn.
But you do what normal drivers do when that happens, and you back off and you undercut, and you get a really good exit.
This is for the lead of the race, with 3 laps to go.
Well, yeah. Well, then you drive better.
All right. He had to turn.
If this happened at Monaco, would they have hit?
I don't get
No,
that
because
argument.
Leclerc would have backed
Yeah,
out.
I don't get that argument because it's not Monaco.
Or if it had been
This
a
is
gravel
Austria.
trap, would they have
But
hit?
it's not
No.
a gravel trap, is
They'd
it?
have backed out.
It's not a gravel trap.
You're still not allowed to go off the track, so you
You
should have
are.
backed off.
You are allowed to go off the track.
Yeah, penalty.
If you get forced off, like Leclerc clearly was, then you can go off.
Forced off.
He was. He got literally got
Where was he
forced
meant to
off the
go?
track.
He was meant to lift off.
Lift
and
off,
undercut.
brake, and say, "Yeah, cheers, have the
Not
lead."
brake.
He can't do that. This is for the lead of the race. I was saying earlier, or to me and Mum were speaking, if this was Grosjean versus Hulkenberg, how little of a shit would you give? You just wouldn't care. If this was a P13,
They probably would have given him a penalty actually.
you would have given him a penalty. But the
Yeah, but
FIA
Grosjean would have. I don't know. They'd have just. I don't know.
Grosjean would have crashed actually, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been a fair overtake. But Leclerc had to turn for some point, and did you see the slow mo replay, where literally Verstappen hits him, and he gets air. He literally gets air and comes
Verstappen
off
does
the
not
ground.
hit him.
Verstappen, I'm
turns
getting
in.
the replay up. Literally,
Yeah, he turns in more.
He gets air. Verstappen went. This is how I see it. Verstappen went in way too hot, went too deep. Yes, he didn't open the steering, but if he did open the steering, that's a penalty.
But yeah, we didn't.
But
so
he kept
that's
it like that. But
that's irrelevant.
he shouldn't have gone that deep because he had the move done beforehand.
No, he didn't. Though.
He did. He didn't have to go that deep.
Because on the previous
Leclerc
lap,
left
it
the
didn't
door
work.
completely open. He could have just braked slightly earlier and still would have got the job done. Lap before, perfect. That is perfectly fine. That's what he should have done in that move.
Yeah, but it didn't work, so he's going to try something different. So
Exactly.
He's going a little bit deeper.
Exactly.
And
But
block off the
you don't
driver.
force someone else off the
He
track.
didn't force him off. He blocked the
He
exit of the
literally did.
corner.
He literally forced him off. He literally forced him off. He went in too hot, and
No.
the FIA opened a can of worms when they gave Vettel a penalty. In my opinion, they opened a can of worms, and they shouldn't have given Vettel that penalty. And then they gave Ricciardo 2 penalties, one of which was completely wrong. This one is just if they would have given a penalty for this, then a joke. This is the slow mo replay, right? You watch this. Tell me that he does not hit him.
Right, keep looking, and look at Leclerc.
Yes,
And
he has to
Leclerc
turn
turns
because
in.
he has
Leclerc
to turn. Look, he
turns
got
in.
air. He had to
Leclerc
turn.
turns in.
Yes, it's a corner. You have to turn for
Well,
a
yeah,
corner.
but you don't turn into a car.
Well,
You either go wide or you slow down.
That was the normal racing line because Max was there because he went in way too hot like
Leclerc
a cock.
was not on the normal
was
racing line.
He was.
He wasn't.
That was the normal racing line.
Did he hit the apex?
No.
So he's not on the normal
because
racing line.
He was on the entry. He hit the apex. On the exit, he was just punted off.
Leclerc did not hit the
He
apex.
did. It's a
at
late
all.
apex on that corner.
He was never going to hit it. You have to go through Verstappen if he's going to hit the late apex.
If we can sit here all day talking about this.
Yeah, because you're wrong.
The FIA. This is literally live pictures from the FIA room. They went in and just had it out basically.
And
It
they
took
took
them
4 hours.
4 hours to sort
What
it out.
the f*** were they doing?
4 hours.
It's ridiculous. So do they all just sit there in the garages wait and see whether they've won or not? Or whether... Because what can he do?
Well, people actually left. I think a lot of teams left at that. They'd already left at that point.
Ridiculous.
For a
What are
fan,
they? It's like
if you went
like,
to
what
that
did you
race-
call it? VAR on steroids.
Yeah, it's just worse. It's 10 times worse than VAR. If you went to a race, if you went to that race and you saw Verstappen win and you were like, yeah, he's won, cool. You went home and he got a penalty,
I know.
and you leave the track people left that track not knowing who's won 4 hours after the race.
Army.
And if they had given him a penalty, I'd understand why it took him 4 hours, but they didn't. So why did it take 4 hours?
It takes 4 hours. It's a 20-minute discussion.
It was ridiculous. Anyway,
That's all you need. Isn't it a panel of like 5 people? And
yeah.
It's just general whoever.
Yeah, I think it's like 3 people. I think the race director comes in, so it would be
Okay.
maybe 4 or 5. Yeah.
And what you just need.
I think they come in. The
Majority.
drivers come in and they just give their accounts, their version of events, and then leave. Then they
Really?
discuss it,
Oh,
and then
they
that's
do
it.
all that, do they?
So maybe 4 hours is too much, though.
Ridiculous.
Definitely. And that was pretty much it. But Vettel got past Hamilton for
Yeah, I saw that.
fourth, and then he almost got past Bottas as well.
On the last corner.
Yeah, there was about under a second, I think. If
Yeah.
there was another lap, he would have got him.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is a shame because without that crappy pit stop from Vettel, where they had no tyres ready,
Yes, I saw that as well.
he probably
Yeah.
would have got on the podium.
Because what they did was really clever.
Who?
Had they had the tyres ready,
Ferrari. Yeah.
to stop Bottas getting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very clever. But they didn't have tyres ready.
Apparently
so
there
it
was
pointless.
the guy who had the headset on didn't have the message and was shouting "Mamma Mia" as he was running. Yeah, literally there was a radio problem apparently. Yeah, so that was that. Going into Silverstone, you're going to be on holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going, unfortunately.
What's Silverstone usually like for the race?
Unbelievable.
Is it?
Last year, like 2017 was where Vettel had that puncher. That's where you like watched it and you're like, oh my god, F1's amazing.
Oh yeah.
I think I've still got that screenshot on my phone. And it was like, oh, it just died, Vettel, what the bloody hell's going on? But that's where Vettel had that puncher and Kimi had one as well.
Yep.
And that was a mental race. And
Yep.
then 2018...
Oh, was that when the tyres just exploded?
There was another year, 2013, I think, where the tyres just died.
Okay.
Hamilton was leading in the Mercedes in 2013 before the hybrids. And his tyre blew up and then Massa had a blowout. Weber, maybe.
Because those corners are incredibly high speed
Yeah.
for the tyres.
Best track on the calendar.
Beckett's.
I'm going to say it. Maggots and Beckett's are the best.
Maggots and Beckett's.
It is the best track on the calendar. It's the best for racing. And quickly before we go on Silverstone.
Although they might scrap the British Grand Prix.
A deal's already been. I'm 99% sure.
Doesn't make enough money.
A deal has been signed. They can't leave Silverstone. You leave Silverstone, you replace it with Baku or like France
America.
or something. No, America.
They'll be getting the Middle East again. Saudi Arabia or something.
no.
Make a bit more money.
No.
A few more brown envelopes.
No.
Into Bernie's pocket.
But Bernie doesn't own F1.
I bet he still has a lot of power but in
He has
Who owns it now? Oh, some American.
Liberty Media, yeah.
Yeah.
Some American. Yeah, he's worth about
He is
two,
American,
about 5 billion. Yeah. Quickly, this is what happens. This race was the best race of this in the last couple of years. This is what happens when you have a race at an actual circuit and not a car park in France. Get rid of France. Why keep France?
The whole country.
Get rid of it.
Fuck 'em.
France.
Get rid of it.
Oh, Brexit. Frexit. Get rid of him.
Brexit means Brexit.
I don't like France. Too much runoff. Too little racing.
Yep.
Mercedes
Just bring
won
back
too.
gravel traps everywhere.
They should
Much
take
more
out
enjoyable.
France and put in Istanbul. That was a sick track.
Mm.
That you remember that left hander was like it went on for about 13 seconds.
Or Valencia.
Or Valencia. I like Valencia.
It was a good circuit.
Alonso won there from like 11th or 12th.
Yeah, that was a good circuit.
Um,
Do they still race at the Hungaroring?
Yes.
Is that any good?
yeah, it was alright. Last couple of years has been a little bit dry because they were like wider. When they were slightly narrower, it was easier because it is quite a narrow track.
What's that American track with the corkscrew?
Laguna Seca.
They should race
That
there.
no, that would literally break every. You have to have about 50. How many laps would there be? About 50. You'd have to have 50 front wings per driver.
because it would just.
Because the
snap all way
corkscrew,
down.
you just go down, and you just snap the front of the car.
They'd bottom out.
Yeah, exactly.
They'd go over the ridge and then just sort of scrape.
They'd have to have so much ride height. It'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Thoughts ahead of Silverstone. Hamilton's hunting ground, or will Vettel do it again? Because last year that's when Hamilton got hit by Kimi, and he came back from last.
Depends
to finish third,
on qualifying, which in turn depends on the Mercedes speed through the high speed corners.
If it's a cold
That's
race,
what Silverstone's all about, isn't it? The high speed corners.
if it's a cold weekend, a cooler weekend, it was about 30 degrees in Austria. It might touch that at Silverstone. It might be 25.
I doubt it.
If it's above 25, then Mercedes won't win.
No, I think it would be between 20 and 25 choice.
That's a Mercedes win then, because they'll get too hot.
So that'll be an enjoyable race. Not.
It will be an enjoyable race, I think. Take Mercedes out at the first corner, should be quite spicy. So yeah, quickly on the podium, Leclerc just stormed off the podium. Did you see that?
No.
He just stormed off the podium.
I went straight to the stewards.
Yep.
A bit like Vettel, but less dramatic.
Yeah, he didn't move the pit board or the finishing board or anything.
And he did go to the podium.
Yeah, he actually did go to the podium. Yeah, so 3 races in a row we've had terrible penalties. If you have made it to this point, let us know what you think to the penalties.
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you for watching. Follow us Twitter, Instagram. You'll find it in the bio. Thank you for joining me. You're not going to be here for the British Grand Prix podcast because you're swanning off to where are you going? The Atlantic somewhere.
Canada.
Okay.
A few weeks too late for the Canadian Grand Prix.
You would have enjoyed that. Should have gone to Montreal.
Do you like the Canadian Grand Prix?
Yeah.
I like the track.
Yeah.
I might have a wander around the circuit.
You're not going to Montreal, are you? You actually?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's like a man-made, isn't it?
It's a street circuit, isn't it? Well.
That part is man-made, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an island just off the river.
What is it called?
Something French.
Gilvina, Circuit Gilvina. What is it called? I don't know.
I haven't got a clue.
Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let us know what you think, and we'll be back. Me and Johnny will return actually for the British Grand Prix podcast. So thank you for watching. Tweet us. See you later.